Hi there, my name is Jamie Pedersen. I represent the 43rd District in the state legislature. The 43rd includes the Seattle neighborhoods of Capitol Hill, Montlake, Eastlake, Madison Park, Wallingford, Fremont, the University District, Green Lake, and Ravenna.
One of the bills that came through your Judiciary Committee this year deals with foreclosure. Can you tell us about that?
We have a real crisis in our state of foreclosures. There have been about 30,000 people who have lost their homes in the last year to foreclosure, and then there are another 40,000 who are seriously delinquent on their mortgages and are in danger of losing their homes. We've heard from a lot of people that they've had real trouble trying to get the banks to engage with them and help them work out a deal that would allow them to stay in their homes. The bill that we passed, the Foreclosure Fairness Act of 2011, which is already out of the House and is working its way through the Senate at this point, would require banks to meet with consumers, would put some teeth into that requirement by making a Consumer Protection Act violation. If they didn't do so, it would produce a good chunk of money to pay for housing counselors to help out people who are facing foreclosure to know what their best options might be. And if the consumers felt like they still weren't getting the help that they needed, they would be allowed to force the banks into a mandatory mediation of their concerns.
One of the bills you're introducing this year addresses the Uniform Parentage Act. What would that bill do?
The Uniform Parentage Act is the law in our state that decides when a child is born who its legal parents are. And our law, unfortunately, has gotten pretty much out of step with the way that a lot of families are created in our state. So the bill does a number of things. It integrates domestic partners into the Parentage Act so that for same-sex couples and other domestic partners, it's the intent of the parents rather than the biology that dictates who the legal parents are. It also restores a provision in our law called the holding out provision that says that if you live with a child for the first 2 years of its life and hold yourself out as the parent, then you become the legal parent and the biology or genetic connection doesn't matter. Finally, and most controversially, it repeals our current criminal prohibition on compensation of surrogate mothers and replaces that with a legal structure that's designed to protect the surrogate and the intended parents, and to make sure that when the children of those surrogacies are born in our state, they have full protection and are the legal children of the intended parents.
And another bill you've introduced this year addresses safety for pedestrians and bicyclists. What would that bill do?
The Vulnerable User Bill, which was sponsored by the Cascade Bicycle Club and also came through the House Judiciary Committee, would create penalties for people who, through their negligent driving, kill or injure vulnerable users of our roads. And those are mostly pedestrians and cyclists who are unfortunately frequently hurt. Right now, somebody who kills a pedestrian or a cyclist could face as little as a $35 infraction fine, never have to appear in court, and not have any other consequences. That doesn't really seem just. And so the bill that's moving again through the House and the Senate would require court appearance, allow the courts to impose more significant penalties, and require community service and traffic school for the people who are found guilty of having committed the infraction.
Great. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.